All right. So welcome everybody. We are here to go over all kinds of great things that are going to happen this year for freshmen entering high school here at Massachusetts High School. Welcome to everyone here and for our wonderful guests on YouTube. So with that said, we're going to start with some introductions, and starting first, our principal is going to come in here and give us a greeting, and then we'll go over our agenda for the day. So here's Mr. Gabalski. I just said hello. And we're live streaming here.
Oh, we're live streaming. Good stuff. All right, thanks everybody for being here. Just wanted to come in and say hello. I know everybody ready for Monday morning? Yeah, I didn't think so. How many of you have checked your emails? Oh, that's pretty good. All right, make sure you're checking your, you're going to hear this probably 300 times, maybe 400 times today. Check your email, especially tomorrow, because that's how teachers are going to reach out to you. And they'll be giving you all your login information, especially for Monday morning, starting at 8 o'clock. Then we'll start with an A1 block. So they're going to cover all this for you. We're glad you're here. No, it's not under the most ideal circumstances, but we hope as we move forward, things will improve each day. So anyway, we're glad you're here. And they got a lot of information they're going to give you, so I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Dunleavy.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Mr. Kowalski. All right, so here's an agenda for the day, things that we're going to go over, important topics. One of those topics that everybody has the question on is how we're going to do online learning, a little schedule, some strategies, some information for you for that. We're going to talk somewhat about just high school expectations in general. And then in addition to that, we're going to talk about some freshman specific stuff, activities, things you can be a part of, sports, and other things. So we're going to go over all those things. But most importantly here, I want you to focus on is this picture, because that's the reason that we're here, right? So first and foremost, our number one job is to get you across the stage to graduate. And you are the class of, and you will be known for the next 4 years as the class of 2024. Okay, and we're even handing out T-shirts that say just as much, because that's how important that focus is for us. So what we want you to do is to keep that always in mind, keep academics as the primary thing, and then the other stuff that we talked about, the activities, the sports, the clubs, that's a secondary thing to make your high school experience more fulfilling and round out your experience as a whole. Okay, so so those are all great things, but if you don't get the academic part first, that's going to be not available to you, and then you're not going to have as good a time. So what we want you to do, as our county says, is we want to prepare you for the future. And so the future starts with your education. And then our goal is to give you all the options possible. Once you walk across that stage in May of 2024, we want to say you were able to choose if you wanted to go to college, if you wanted to go to trade school, military, or get a job right away, that you had the option to do it. So big focus for that. And I want to challenge you too with regards to that. You all are here together. Some of you have been together since elementary school. Some of you have been together since middle school. And now you're going to go through high school together. So as a class, as a group, I want you to be not only a good friend to yourself, but be a good friend to your friends as well. And what does that mean? Being a good friend to yourself. If you need help with something, if you're struggling, if you something's going on, whether it's academic or something else outside of academics, reach out to somebody. Let them know that you need help. Whether it's a friend in this room or somebody that you've known for a while, or all these adults in here are here to support you. So every single one of us in here, whether it's myself as your assistant principal, all these wonderful counselors that are sitting here, even the student leaders, they will help you get to where you want to be. And that's what we're here for. We're a community, the class of 2024, and we want to be known and be together as that group, as a community. So reach out for help if you need help. The second part, as I said before, was if you need help, you're going to reach out for help. But as a good friend to others, if they need help and they're not asking for help, you ask them. Ask them, do you need help? If you're sitting in your first period class on Monday morning and you're in biology class, first block, A1, and you're like now mid-September and you have no idea what's going on, then you see your friend kind of struggling in the same light. Ask your friend, hey, let's do this together. Like, let's create a study group. Let's work on our stuff so that we can support each other so that we are not struggling. And that's just an academic example, but there's other things that go on throughout high school too that can be other things that you might need help with. But as a good friend, you see your friend struggling, ask them, do you need help? And if you can't help them, try and point them in the right direction of help. Maybe say, hey, you and me together, we'll go and talk with the teacher and get some help with how to do Algebra 1. I don't know. We'll go talk to the assistant principal together because we need some support. Whatever it is, please be a good friend to yourself and others. And I'm going to give you an example, a small story from my personal life that shows what a good support can be, but perhaps sometimes we're too afraid to step out of our comfort zone and give that support to others. So I had a group of friends in high school, my junior year of high school, and so I wasn't friends with this person, but they had a friend, so I just kind of knew him through them. We're really just acquaintances. And our junior year of high school came, and he was struggling. He just couldn't get his stuff together. He was just all over the place with all these things going on, and he didn't ask for help from anybody. And nobody of his friends said, hey, what's going on, man? Like, let me help you out. What can I do for you? And so come fall senior year, everybody's sitting in class together, and we're all, where I went, we had...
For the interruption, Rose, if you're in the building, or Wendy, if either one of you could come to the main office, we appreciate it. Thanks.
We had been together since elementary school, most of us, because we had one high school in our district. So elementary school, middle school together, and now high school finally. And senior year, we're sitting in class looking around at our classmates, and everybody's excited. Senior year started, we're ready to go. And they're looking around and say, where's Tony? What happened to Tony? And Tony didn't make it. He failed all of his classes junior year. So my senior year, the most exciting year, all of my friends were all together. Tony was sitting in his junior class, and he wasn't able to graduate with us as a group. And I think that's a two-part failure, right? That's a failure on his part not to ask for help. His friends should have been there for him to reach out to him as well for help. So when we do stuff like that, when I talk about stuff helping others, that's what I mean. Things come up in your life. Be there for each other. Okay, help each other, support each other, because you want to be the class of 2024, and you want to stick to that number. That's your number, 2024. You want to graduate then. And one tradition we have here, and you're going to do this at the end of the tour, we have a banner out here that says a pledge to graduate in 2024. And so you're going to sign that pledge, that banner saying, that's what I'm pledging to do today. And it will hang in the hallways all 4 years that you're here in high school. And we just had this past spring, seniors that just graduated, they can walk across the stage, get their diploma, and then point to their name on the banner and take a picture and say, look, I did it. I fulfilled my promise. Okay, so continue with that focus. All right, so we're going to go through some introductions. First, Mr. Kowalski said hello. He's our principal here. I am Mr. Dunleavy. I'm your 9th grade assistant principal. So I'll be with you from 9th grade up through your senior year. Dr. Hall, he's our 10th grade assistant principal. Mrs. Miller is our 11th grade assistant principal, and Dr. Ainsworth is our senior assistant principal this year. So you might see any of these faces around, but I will be the main person for you. But any of those wonderful people can help. Another important person is our instructional coordinator, Ms. Christilius Click. She is the person that does all the testing stuff for you. So if you ever see an email from her, maybe she's reaching out to you for a testing question or to schedule you or something like that. An example from last year, I had seniors that I was with last year, and email was sent out to these kids to come down to my office and oh my goodness, it's never good to go to the office. Well, she just wanted to say, hey, you're taking your biology SOL on December 9th at 7:30 in the computer lab. So, here's some help, here's some study material, get ready, you have a couple weeks to prepare, right? So that's a good thing. So if you see an email from her, that's what you want to pay attention to. Okay. Next, our front office staff. All these wonderful friendly faces you'll see coming in. First is Miss Akers over there all the way to the right. She's the greeter at the front door. She's the first person you will encounter there. And then Miss Taylor and Miss Elliott have the desks kind of in the back there. So any of those ladies will help you out with anything you need. If you need to call home and use the phone, if your parent drops something off in the main office for you, or if you ever call in, if you need some help, like I can't get online, please connect me to somebody. They'll be the ones that are answering the phones too. And if you lose something, if you're here, our lost and found is up front too, so they'll help you out with that. Next, our clinic, Miss Bogert. We have a full-time nurse here. She's there. Her office is in the middle, in between the two commons areas or cafeterias, and she's there. So if ever you need to, you'll see that on your tour. If ever you need to, perhaps you have a medicine that you're taking during the day, or you're taking a glucose test or something, she would administer that. So you'd go see her. She's great. She works with your schedule so you don't miss class time. So she's wonderful. She also, there's an assistant in there too. So either one or both of them will be in there. Okay, and next, Ms. Miner is going to talk about our counseling staff and introduce them, and then also some great stuff to know.
Good afternoon. All right, so let's try that one more time. Good afternoon. Thank you. It's afternoon time. I need a little bit of pick me up, so thank you. I'm going to go through the counseling staff here at Massaponax. It's 6 of us, so we're a big group, and we are broken up by alphabet. So we want to make sure that you understand who your counselor is and how to contact your counselor. We'll have our email addresses up there, but you can also, if you don't remember everything today, you can go back and watch this again, but it's also available on the MHS website if you go under school counseling tab, so you'll be able to find us. And we'll talk a little bit about, how emailing us and how that will work. So for our first person, we have Mr. Alexander. That is his contact information, and he works with students with the last names A through CH. Then we have Ms. Diggs, and she's also back here in the corner. She works with students with last names CI through GI. That's me, I'm Ms. Miner. I work with students with last names GJ through LA. Then we have Ms. Marcel, who's also in the back. She works with students with last names LB through PA. Ms. Marchetti is also our counseling director, and she works with students with last names PB through SJ. And then we have Ms. Blake, who's also in the back here or to the side. She works with students with last names SK through Z. These are our wonderful counseling secretaries. Whenever we do transition back into the building, and if you guys come down to see us in our offices, these are the faces that you will see, probably Ms. Miller before you see any of us, because as soon as you walk through the front doors of the counseling office, you will be in contact with her. So she's our secretary. And then on the right is Ms. Cornell. She's our registrar, so she's the person that takes care of all of our records. We also have one social worker here at Massaponax. So Ms. Davenport and the counselors work very closely together. Sometimes when you're looking for your counselor, and like again, when we transition back to the building, you can't find your counselor, or even emailing, during this time that we're doing virtual learning, you certainly can reach out to Ms. Davenport. Let's talk about the student schedule. Have you guys seen this on the website or kind of floating around a little bit? Okay. We just want to make sure that you understand how the virtual schedule is going to work, okay? And if you have any questions, you can ask those at the end. So with the virtual schedule, you will be online in classes 4 days a week, okay? Monday, Tuesday, A day, B day, and then Thursday, Friday, A day, B day. So you'll have 2 A days and 2 B days, okay? On Wednesdays, it's not a day off for you on Wednesdays. It's still a day on. Okay, so Wednesdays is going to be your day to catch up with everything, emails, homework, maybe even some tutoring going on with your teachers, conferencing with your teachers, conferencing with your counselors if you need to meet with us. Parents can reach out to teachers on that Wednesday as well, so we would expect that you would be working on that day. For your Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday schedule, You can see that every morning from 7:35 to 8 o'clock, you are expected to be up and on that computer checking your email. Why? Because you want to be on top of things. You want to get ready for class. You don't want to roll up out of bed at 7:45 getting ready for your 8 o'clock class. So that will help you kind of stay on the schedule and kind of know what's going on because your teacher may have sent something out earlier that day before or even that evening that you need to see before logging on. So you want to make sure that you're on top of that. Okay? And the expectation is that you will kind of get yourself up and get ready just as if you were going to catch that bus or get dropped off at school, get yourself up, get your breakfast, and all of that good stuff. Sorry, I'm taking too long. So then from 8 o'clock to 8:45, that will be your A1 on A day class on A days or your B5 classes on B days. Okay, so you can see the classes are about 45 minutes. And then you have 5 minutes to log on to the next class. So your next class will start at 8:55 to 9:40, and then it goes on until 11:30. So you know that from 7:35 to 11:30, you will be in class basically. Okay. And then you'll have a 30-minute lunch break from 11:35 to 12 because we all got to eat. So you can take some time and step away from the computer, go grab a snack or some lunch. And then from 12 to 2:30, it's not chill time for you. It's homework time. It's studying time. It's getting with my teacher or my counselor time. Okay? So you have that afternoon to be able to do that. All right? Any questions about the schedule? Great. So you guys probably know your schedules came out yesterday. Everybody got their schedule? Yes. Okay. They went live for you guys to see yesterday. If you have any issues with your schedule, issues meaning you're missing a class, or maybe you are double blocked for a period, you have two classes for the same block, issues like that, you definitely need to reach out to us. We are working on them as we're receiving them, and we have a conflict list that we're working on. It's going to take us a little time, because if you email us at 9 o'clock last night, we probably, we may not get to you right away, but just know that we are working on those things. If you're trying to request a new elective, like if you want to do a schedule change request, we are not honoring those right now because we've got to get to the students who don't have a full schedule. So that's the only reason we're not doing that right now. We will have the window for the schedule change request will open at some point, and we will send out a blast email to you guys to let you know when it's time for that. Okay? So let's talk about virtual learning and expectations because this virtual learning thing is new. It's new for me, it's new for the counselors, the admin, everybody, the teachers, and you. But we want to make sure that you guys are going to be successful for the first 9 weeks, well, for the whole year, but especially for the first 9 weeks, because it is going to look a little different for you, okay? So these are some things that the counselors came up with that we feel we need to share with you all so that you can make sure that you're staying on top of everything through this virtual learning. So first of all, you need to make sure you understand that your coursework matters. Grades will be taken, okay? Last year, at the end when, COVID first hit, everybody was kind of in a shock and, grades, I'm not going to say grades did matter, but teachers were a little bit more flexible with things, okay? Now, that's not going to happen. You're going to be expected to, be online or in class every day. You're going to be expected to do your homework, study, and ask for help if you need it, okay? The school year begins Monday, and you guys probably have heard that. So next week, you will be spending time getting to know your teachers. So teachers have probably already started sending you emails. If they haven't, they will, so that you will know like when and how to log on and all that good stuff. But you are expected to be on every day next week. Even though the academic learning isn't happening next week, you still want to be on so that you can learn how to use Canvas. So teachers can show you how to watch videos or how they're going to put out the content or if they're going to use Google Classroom. And, that gives you time to get comfortable with everything so that when you start learning on the 24th, you'll kind of have all that other stuff out the way. So that's why it's so important for you to get on every day next week to be a part of your class. Again, attendance matters. So just like if you were in school every day and you didn't come to school, we come after you, okay? Teachers are taking attendance. They will let us know when you're not on, and we will definitely research it and figure out what's going on. So you need to be in class every day. Be on time to your classes. The same thing as if you were here, because if you come late to school, what happens? What do you get? Authority. That's right. So you need to be in class on time. So if class starts at 8 o'clock, you should be really logging on about 7:45, maybe 7:50. I'll say 10 minutes before. And the reason for that is you want to be prepared, you want to have all your stuff together, but we know how technology functions, right? It's a great thing when it works, but when it doesn't, it can be a hassle. So let's say you're getting ready to log on at 7:58 and you realize either your computer's dying or maybe you didn't log on properly and it's not working, you need to restart it, or something shut down, it's not working, you need to give yourself some time to figure out a plan. And when we are running on, when we know we have to be somewhere and we're not on time, we start to panic. So give yourself some time, log on in plenty enough time so that you can allow time for those errors if they happen. Stay engaged and communicate with your teachers. So during class, even though you're sitting in front of the computer, don't have your cell phone on Instagram or whatever else you guys on Twitter and looking at all different stuff. You need to stay engaged, pay attention to the monitor, let your teacher know that you're listening, take notes if you have to, do whatever you would normally do in class. Okay? Take ownership of the process. Okay, we all know that this is something new. We get that, but we're going to have to learn this thing together. And even though you're learning from home, you have to take ownership of it. So you got to do your homework. You got to study. You got to use that extra time that you have in the afternoon. Use it wisely. From 12 to 2:30, don't be sitting there watching TV when you know you have a test the next day. Okay, take ownership of the process. Set up a workspace. If you haven't talked to your parents about that by now, you may want to do that. Find, a workspace that's in your home that will work for you. Because, if you're sitting on your bed or laying on the floor, that may not be as comfortable for you. So, you may have to have a little table area or maybe set up in the kitchen or somewhere where you'll be able to focus on your classes. Keeping an agenda will help you to stay organized. How many of you guys used an agenda last year? Anybody? No, not really. Okay, you may want to think about doing that. High school is a little different from middle school. It's a lot of stuff going on. You got 8 classes to keep up with. Everybody has projects on different days. Everybody has tests on different days, and so it's going to be a lot coming together. So having an agenda, a calendar, or using like the calendar on your phone or the Google Calendar, whatever works for you. But you're going to need to use something to keep up with everything because we just can't remember everything that's going on in our lives. Check Student View. You guys should be very familiar with Student View from last year. Student View is my friend, okay, because it tells you everything you need to know about what's going on with your classes. So check it once a week, check it every day if you like, but that's how you stay on top of your grades because maybe you forgot to submit something and you see that there's a zero in there. You're able to kind of talk to your teacher about that assignment in enough time instead of waiting till the end of the 9 weeks when it may be too late to turn something in. So make Student View your friend and check it out at least once a week. The Possess Virtual Etiquette, we're going to talk about that in just a moment on the next slide. And then the check your email every day, a few times a day. So in the morning, maybe again in the afternoon, like after lunch, and then again in the evening or before you go to bed. So let's talk about the online meeting etiquette. Just a few things that we think you guys need to keep in mind and follow. Join early. We talked about that and why it's important. Okay. Dress appropriately. Okay. So you need to make sure that you're dressed as if you were coming to school, your t-shirt, jeans, shorts, whatever you want to wear, not your pajamas. Okay. Not your robe. You want to dress as if you were coming to school. Okay. Because when you look good and you feel good, you produce good. Okay. Be aware of your surroundings. Okay, so make sure your background, wherever you're going to set up that workspace, make sure it's nice and tidy. So make sure there's no posters, inappropriate posters behind you, or make sure it's a space that you're comfortable with showing because you know that on the other side of that computer, your classmates are going to be able to see what's in the background. So just make sure you set that up in enough time so that you can take a look and see what's going on behind you. Mute your microphone when you're not speaking. That's very important because when you have a class of 30 on, there's all kinds of vibrations going on and, there may be some background noises and your teacher's trying to teach. You may miss things. So when you're not speaking, make sure you turn that mute button off and your teachers are going to expect that. They're probably going to talk to you about that this week or next week when they're, having you to log on. Stay seated and present during the whole block of class. Okay, so that means, don't have the dog coming in, sitting in your lap, or your little sister, little brother coming in, don't be eating your breakfast during class because you would normally do that, if you were in school. Stay focused. Don't get up and go turn the music on or open the curtains. When you're sitting down, the teacher's going to expect that you're with them for that 45-minute block and that you're staying focused. Minimize distractions. Okay, again, anything that you feel like is going to be a distraction to you before you set up your workspace, try to get rid of it. Okay, and again, it's nice if you can kind of get a space away from everything that's going on in the house, but then that may not be possible. That's why it's important to kind of look for that space now and talk to your parents about where can you set, your working space up. Give grace is very important. Give grace means be patient with everyone. Be patient with us, your teachers, even your classmates, because you may have some classmates that may not even know how to use, Google Meets or, how to mute something or whatever. And you may be a pro at it. So be patient with everyone because this is new for all of us. Okay? And be patient with your teachers, with how they're teaching things. And it may go slow in the beginning, but just know that they're working on things and the pace may pick up a little bit as the 9 weeks goes on. Okay. Any questions about the virtual etiquette? Yes.
What about that?
Which one? Plan for an effective wrap up. I think that would be probably, well, I guess that could be for you, but I think it's more for the teacher, for the teacher to kind of wrap up the class a little bit. But if we were looking at that for you guys as the students, we could say wrap up could mean questions. Ask any questions that you may have about the class. So that was a good question. Alrighty, I think I'm done. Yep, I'm turning this over to one of the folks over there.
All right, good afternoon. How is everybody? How is everybody? All right, good. All right, I'm not going to take too much of your time. My name is Mr. Clements. I'm the activities director here. I'm in charge of everything sports and activities. If we can hit that, there you go. I have a little bit of information here today in regards to our setup for this particular school year. Normally, we would be 2 weeks into fall sports right now. And unfortunately, because of this virus, fall sports, at least we're going to hopefully get to play it. It has been sandwiched between our spring sports and our winter sports later in the year. All right, so basically the second semester. So I wanted to make sure I share this information with you if you have not already heard. All of our sports and the activities that I'm kind of in charge of, we fall under what's called the VHSL. It stands for Virginia High School League, and that is the governing body for all public schools in the state of Virginia, okay, in regards to athletics and the activities that compete up through the state level. In the winter, December the 14th, we can't even get started in sports until then, but on December the 14th, we are going to start our winter sports. And we have a list here. If you can't see them in the back, I'm going to just read them off real quick. For the season one for winter, starting December the 14th through February the 20th, we will be able to participate in basketball. So both boys and girls basketball. We do not have gymnastics here at Massaponax, but we do have indoor track for both boys and girls, swim for boys and girls, and then wrestling for boys and girls, if you prefer. Okay, so that will be season one with all of our winter sports. Now, within that winter sports season, we also have a couple activities that we compete in, and those are Scholastic Bowl, kind of like an academic team, and our theater group. All right, they will have, competition in theater, and we are two-time state champions in within the last 5 years. All right, so we got a great group that are in charge of our theater. So that's season one. Now, the season two, which I was just talking about, our fall sports, has been pushed in the middle, right after the winter, and that starts February the 15th through May the 1st. So it's kind of like on the back end of the winter, and then it's in through the early spring. And our fall sports, typically, we have cheer, both sideline and competition. We have cross country for boys and girls, field hockey for girls, football for boys and girls, golf for boys and girls, and then girls volleyball. Okay, those are our fall sports that we'll be competing now in season two, which is February 15th through May the 1st. Now, the activities that are offered during that season two are debate and forensics. All right, you'll be getting more information about some of these things later on, and hopefully you will look into that if you're interested. And then we go to season three. which is our normal spring sports. It's just starting a little bit later than we would normally have. And then we have April the 12th through the June 26th is when those seasons, excuse me, that season will take place. And in the spring, we have quite a few things. We have baseball and softball. We have boys and girls lacrosse. We have boys and girls soccer, boys and girls tennis, and then, of course, track and field for both boys and girls as well. All right, so those are the athletics things that we have during season 3 in our spring sports. For our activities, we have something that's called the festival. That's something you would learn a little bit more within our fine arts department if you're interested in competing in that. Okay, so those are our seasons for this school year. All right, very unique to the average school year. So, but at least we're going to have an opportunity to compete, right, which is a great thing. Now, let me see a hands real quick. Is anybody planning to be an athlete or participate in some of those activities I talked about? Awesome. Okay, good. Now, because there's so many of you, I definitely want to remind you of a couple things. Number one, in order to compete, eligibility is a big thing. Eligibility means that you are doing what you're supposed to be doing in the classroom to earn the opportunity to play sports. Okay, I think you had some eligibility requirements in middle school as well, but here at the high school, you got to be passing at least 5 classes in order to compete. All right, so it's very, very important that you take care of business in the classroom. Well, online in the classroom. The second reminder that I wanted to make sure you're aware of is everybody's going to be required to have a physical. All right, those of you who are athletes, if you played in middle school, did you have a physical that you had to turn in? The exact same thing here at the high school. We just got to make sure that you turn in an updated physical. Each year you have to get a new one. So make sure that if you have not gotten one since May the 1st of 2020, that you plan to get one pretty soon. And the main reason for that is even though these sports are starting, winter for that matter, the first one we have is December 14th, we're going to start doing some things, what we call out-of-season workouts and conditioning. And we're going to be allowed to start doing that September the 1st. Now, in order for you to participate in those things that we're going to be doing September 1st and beyond, you got to have that physical in my hand, basically. It has to be turned in, and everything has to be complete with the date of May the 1st, 2020 or later. Okay, so it's very important that you have an updated physical to turn in for this school year. Now, the other piece of that is you probably also had to do the concussion education online. Yes? Let me see some heads go like this. Yeah? All right, good. So you're aware of that. We have the exact same thing. This time, you just got to make sure that you push the Massaponax High School button instead of the Thornburg or Spotsylvania, wherever you came from. And you can find all that information on our school website. Mr. Dunleavy is going to go over that here in just a minute, but there's an athletics tab, and if you hover over the athletics tab, there's a button you can push to get a copy of a physical to where you can take that into the doctor's office if you haven't already done so. But there's also a link on there to go to to perform that concussion education that I was talking about as well. So those two things you've got to have done before you start taking part in some of the things that we're going to be doing for the out-of-season stuff that starts September the 1st. Okay? Now, information about some of those opportunities are going to be coming to you via email or even the phone blast or whatever it may be. So be paying attention to your emails. I know they've been drilling you on that. So make sure you're reading those for those opportunities that will be coming. Does anyone have any questions about athletics or activities at this time? Yes, ma'am. It should not. No. Even though there's a little bit of an overlap, as you can see, is that what you were looking at? May the 1st, and then starting April 2nd. Somewhere in there may be a spring break sometimes, but what ends up happening is the latter part of each season is when we're in playoff. Sometimes we're not necessarily in those playoffs, or we've already completed the season, even though the date goes a little farther. But even if there is some crossover, like there's many times where we've been really successful in football. If you guys know that, we have a great football program. Some of those football players are also basketball players or wrestlers or swim or something like that. So the season actually goes beyond the start of the winter season, but they have committed to that season to finish it first, and then they will have an equal opportunity to participate in the next season as soon as they're done. Okay, great question. Thank you for asking that. Question. Football's all year long, buddy. Well, we didn't get good for nothing, I'm gonna tell you. The official date is February the 15th. But I can promise you, Coach Ludden is chomping at the bit to get everybody here on September 1st. So make sure you have your physical and you've done your online concussion education stuff so that you can be ready to go when you get that information. Any other questions? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sir. When or where? You can turn into the main office. We are working right now on providing some information on when we may have a collection night. We're trying to figure out the best way to do that, whether we want to do it before September 1st or use September 1st as a night to collect them as many as we can. Does that make sense? Now, if you were just to bring it tomorrow and drop it off at the front office, that's fine. They know where to put it. Okay? Yes. The concussion? Can you guys go to the Massaponax website real quick for me? It should be already up there, I think. A link. Okay, so here's the Massaponax, our school website. We have an athletics tab here. They're hovering over top of it, so it brings up these possible links. This is the one where you can get the copy of the physical form. And then over here is the one where you can click on and it takes you to the county website. And then from this point, you got to find the school in which you are at, which is Massaponax High School. And you click on this link right here. Go ahead and click on it. And it will take you right to the site that you and your parents will have to go through the concussion education information. Now, you would have to sign in and make sure your name is all added to it. As you can see, they're just going to make sure that you have choose Massaponax and then fill in all your name, your student ID information. And then once you go and complete that, you will have an opportunity to print that out. But we also, as soon as you complete it, will get your name will come up on our database that you've completed it. Okay? Any other questions? Great questions. And you guys have been my best group so far. Out of 8 groups, you guys are great. Anyone else? All right. Well, we look forward to having you. If you have any questions beyond this meeting, feel free to email me or call in, and we'll be glad to answer it and get you going. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clement. All right, so next we're going to talk about some stuff that you need to know for the webpage here because online, this is going to be a great source of information for you. So, so if you get to our homepage, there's all those drop-down ones. We looked at the athletic ones that have those links on it, but the next big one is your student tab, and you're going to use this quite often. So there's links there. There's one to the counseling department, and then the most important one is the dashboard, which we'll talk about in a second. So that's there for you. We'll go over that in a second. If you scroll down on our website, you'll see they have the division announcements, school announcements there. And then keep going further down. The most important part is our headlines and features section down here. So under headlines and features, if you look at that at the top, we have a link to our YouTube channel, which we're live streaming on right now. So if, you know, tomorrow night you're looking for a feature film to watch and you're really excited about being at the Massaponax High School Panther, you can plug in your YouTube channel here and you can get some popcorn going and watch this freshman orientation all over again. That's going to be really exciting for you. So that'll be up there. Frequently asked questions for parents. If you forget how to log into Canvas, we have some instructions there for you. And then the next one, maybe the most important or thing that you might forget the most is class schedule. So my next tab up there on the top should be the class schedule. Already open for you. So if you click on class schedule, this is what's going to show up for you. Okay. And so with that, with your class schedule, this is just an easier to read view for me personally, because this has all your in-class days, Monday and Thursday, or A days, B days, Tuesday, Friday. If you forget, well, what time does the second block start? Oh yeah, I'll go here, and then it's 8:55, so you know. So that's there for you. And then separate, because Wednesday is very different, your Wednesday schedule is right here. So that's its own kind of day. So that's kind of separated for you, so that makes a little more sense in your head. So that's the same thing that the counseling department talked about already for you, but they're on the website. So on Monday morning, if you forget, or 2 weeks from now, if you forget what time things are, that's there for you. Okay. If you click on the next tab up over, it should be the dashboard. Yep. So here's our student dashboard. So if you clicked on that link to MHS student dashboard, this is what pops up. So you have links to a lot of things that you're going to use. If, for example, library has links there. If you're going to use stuff from the library, if you want to check out books, there's things from that. We will be checking out books, both in person and digitally, I think. Counseling has a link there for Naviance, which you'll use a lot more throughout the years, especially senior year. Testing, there's links for stuff there. And then Google, of course, the Gmail, Classroom, and the Drive that you'll use probably every day. But the most important one would be your Gmail. So if you click on Gmail, the next tab up should be my Gmail open. This is what it looks like. I'm sure you've been there. Hopefully your background is as cool as mine. But there's two things that you want to know for when you get in your Gmail. There's a couple terms that people will use. You'll hear this often. So number one is they'll tell you to click on the hot dog or the kebab, which is these 3 dots right next to each other. Now those 3 dots you'll see on lots and lots of different things. So it's on our email, it's on your Google Docs, it's on Canvas, and that's just something that just stores stuff and holds links inside of it. So if you click on it, more links will pop up. That's all that means. But the teacher might have in their instructions something to the effect of, all right, once you get off the Google Meet, open the Google Doc, click on the hot dog, and select one of your options. And that you're just hot dog. That's what it means. Okay. So the next one and the biggest one in your email is called the waffle. And that's these 9 dots up here. Okay. So if we do click on that waffle for me, you'll see what pops up. These are stuff that you're going to use all the time. So you have your Drive, your Docs, Sheets, Calendar, Google Meet if you have a Google Meet to get to, and it's on your calendar, it'll pop up there. And the most important part, if you scroll down on this, you see there's 1.5 million things on mine, is Canvas. So if you want to get to Canvas, this is the way to get to Canvas. You log into your email, you click on the waffle, and then you click on the Canvas button. Should be that easy. The reason why you go through your email is because Canvas is a platform nationally, but we have it through the district, so it's a very specific address to get to it for our district. If you just try to Google it, you might get to Canvas as a whole, or you might get to Canvas somewhere in California, and that's not really going to help you out. So you want to go through your email, click on the waffle, click on the Canvas link. And if you do that, I think the next tab up is my page. It'll look something like this. So when you get home today, just try it out. Go to your email, find the waffle, find the Canvas button, hit it, and then you should have courses that populate in there. It automatically puts you in the classes that you're in with the teacher that you're in. So yours will look, mine's not exciting at all. Yours will look like, oh, look, I have A1, World Geography, A2, Biology, and so on. Okay, so that's that. If you want to go back to the presentation. And just one piece of advice with that, I would keep my Gmail open the entire day that I'm on the computer. So when you log on, get on at 7:45, 7:50, open your email, check your email, because the only way we can communicate with you is through email, because that's what the teachers have access to. The teacher can't, because you're not in the room, they're not going to call every single one of you every day and say, hey, we're going to get on the Google Meet here. They're going to send you an email to your whole class and say, here's the Google Meet code for Monday morning first block. And so you just check your email, click on it, you're good to go. So have it open, check it every block. So if the block starts, every 45 minutes, I check my email, and then I check it once again in the afternoon, see if there's any updates for the next day or for the afternoon. Okay, that would be so 5 times a day. Check your email and have that up there. All right, next slide. I think Ms. Quinn is going to talk about freshman board, and not freshman boring.
No, freshmen are not boring. I'm Mrs. Quinnen. I'm a math teacher here. Ms. Payne is one of our 9th grade English teachers. How many of you have looked at your schedules already? Some students here? How many of you have Ms. Payne for English? Okay, a couple. How many of you don't remember who you had for English? Yeah, that's right. She's one of 3 ninth grade English teachers. Her and I are the freshman board sponsors. The freshman board, what is that? It's just kind of a group that's students who want to try and kind of plan things and do things to build community, do things for the freshman class. It's just for freshmen. We have a sophomore board, a junior board, and a senior board. Now, junior board, they're the ones who plan the prom. So if you're like, I don't really want to do anything else, but I want to plan prom. Well, you really need to get involved now as a freshman so that you know how things work and what the rules are and how things go. And then you can say, I've done it before. So sophomore, junior, and senior board actually have an election as part of the process. So then you can say, I've done it before and I did a great job, so elect me again. Senior board, they do lots of stuff because they have graduation, they have a movie, they have breakfast, they have senior superlatives, which is like most likely to whatever. So that's who does all of that stuff. Freshmen, we don't do as much just because we're all kind of getting used to the school and kind of getting used to what things are like. Usually in the fall, we have a lot of stuff around homecoming. That's obviously going to look a little different, but we still can do some virtual things. So if you have ideas of like fun things we could do, I know for high school in the spring there was a lot of they came up with the pass the diploma thing for all the kids graduating. Did they do one for middle school? I don't even know. Probably should. And then they had all the challenges. There was like TikTok challenges and different challenges. Like I know our football team did some stuff. So things like that might be things that freshman board would be doing this year since we're virtual and we can't like plan a tailgate for a football game because that's not going to happen until the winter. In years past, we did like an after-school movie, showed it in the auditorium. It wasn't a brand new movie, but it was just a movie, and you could come hang out and we had popcorn. We did Rita's one year. Usually, you pay freshman dues. This year, there's no dues because it's just kind of a crazy year. But usually, every year you pay class dues, and those dues go to things, the activities that we do as a class, and then the money follows the class every year. So next year, assuming everything's back to normal, you'll pay, I think it's $10. And then you can do activities out of those funds. And then whatever's left follows you. And then junior year, everybody pays dues and you do your activities. That's what you use to pay for prom and then pay for your senior year stuff. So it's just kind of how it goes along. So we're looking for just anybody who's excited about being a Panther. I think all of you are excited to be a Panther because it's the best high school in all of Virginia. But we also have some other clubs. So the other thing that we have is SCA. That's kind of like the board, but instead of being just freshman, just sophomore, that's where you have from all 4 grades. They are the ones who do homecoming, they do pep rallies, they do spirit days, they just do different stuff too. So that's another activity you could be involved with. But beyond those, we have Latin Club, we have Spanish Honor Society, Latin Honor Society. We have, Battle of the Books. That's one of my personal favorites. Even though I'm a math teacher, I do love books, and I read the books anyway. All kinds of clubs. We have a science club. We have Ultimate Club. Do you guys know what Ultimate is? The Frisbee. Yeah. We have all kinds of stuff. So this presentation will be on our website. Go look. There's also an activities link that just has some different stuff. We have tons of theater arts. Our theater arts are amazing. And they do all kinds of different stuff. We have debate. We have econophonics. I think that's how you say it. An economics club, film club. So many different things. So many opportunities. And all you have to do is just get involved. All you have to do is just say, hey, I want to join. And most of the clubs you can just join when we're in school. They meet during the day and after school. So whatever you can do, just get involved and be a part of the different stuff at Massachusetts. There's also opportunities if there's something you want to do and you don't see a club already formed. All you have to do is find a teacher who's willing to sponsor you. And our administration is very strong, very, very positive, and they're supportive of whatever you guys want to do. So if there's a club you want to form, there's not already a club that does it, you can form a club. Get a couple of friends and just say, this is what we want to do, and we can do it. And it'll make high school so much more than just coming in and doing your classes and getting your grades. That's the most important part because you want to get the grades and get finished, but get involved and do stuff and be a part of the school. And we're excited to have you guys here. So our last part of the day is to do some tours, and Mr. Dunleavy will go ahead and get you in groups to go around with our student guides.
Awesome. So really quick, I'm gonna two bits of instruction, and then Miss Blake really wants to get you into groups. So she's gonna form the groups and create them in her mind right now while I give you instructions. So two things. The first instruction is freshmen oftentimes they come to high school and they're afraid to jump in and do things and be spirited and be awesome, just like maybe you're used to in middle school. Okay, don't do that. My challenge to all of you in here, when we have spirit days and things like that, show up and show out, do all the spirit stuff, dress in the colors or whatever it is that we have the spirit day for. If it's class color day, everybody wears all white. People paint their faces, their arms. They wear all white clothes. I mean, people go all out. So if you're looking around and like, I don't want to do that because I don't want to not be cool because maybe people won't do it. Literally, the whole school dresses out. So don't be the freshman class, which happens every year. Everybody's looking at the freshmen and like 5 people did it and they're like, yay. And so it's just not so good. So be spirited right away. There's absolutely a ton of spirit at the school. If you go to the football games or if you've been to them, you've seen the spirit section. It's awesome. So when we have that stuff, do it. Don't be afraid. All right, instruction number 2. At the end of your tour, we're going to put you in groups. The last thing you're going to do is you're going to sign our banner to pledge to graduate in 2024. Everybody's using those pens. So once you use that pen, you put it down. There's a hand sanitizer station right next to it. Please sanitize your hands right away after you drop the pen. It's right there next to it. And then come over to the shirt stand and tell us what size t-shirt you are, and we'll get you a t-shirt, and then you're all good. And you can head on home, and we'll see you virtually on Monday. All right, there you go.
All right, guys. So I'm going to have this first row right here go with Caroline on a tour. So if you want to stand up and head over to Caroline there, make sure to ask her lots of questions.